I made over $28,470 this month, trading what I believe to be the simplest price action strategy that I've ever seen. It only involves 3 steps, and it is the biggest reason why I'm able to have days like this where you see I make over $4,000 in one day. So in this video, I'm going to break down the entire price action trading strategy from start to finish, and just to show you how simple it is, I'm going to throw a 15-minute timer on the screen and explain this entire strategy in less than 15 minutes for you. Okay, let's get started. So this strategy is called the Trend Fail Continue system, also known as the TFC strategy. And this TFC system, if you've seen any of my videos before, I have literally every single entry that I take revolves around this trading strategy. Whether I'm using fibs, EMAs, VWAP, it doesn't matter what I'm trading. This is my entry model right here. We use the same thing every single time behind the biggest trades I've ever taken. And so in this video, I'm going to break down the entire strategy for you from start to finish. And then at the end, we're going to go over some beginner mistakes that a lot of people make when trying to use this strategy. Now, remember, this is a very, very new concept, right? So please watch to the end, because if you do not do the things at the end that we're going to talk about, it's just borderline not even possible to be able to trade this strategy, okay? So I want you to have the entire thing from start to finish. Now, the first step of this strategy is going to be trend. We need to make sure that not just having regular trend, but we need to make sure that in this strategy, we are having a smooth trend in one direction. Now, a lot of you guys might be like, well, what if this strategy looks like this and then we have, trend? That's not what we're looking for, right? At the end of the day, for me, when it comes to this strategy, I want to make sure we are having extremely smooth trend. That is what keeps this strategy alive. And so take a look here, for example, this is what I mean. Something like this where we have clean trending action, right? Nothing like this, for example. We don't trade this at all. I don't want to, because for me, this has the highest probability of continuing, okay? Now, that's just the overall example there. The trend is the very, very first thing. Now, the second is going to be the failure, okay? Now, what a failure means is essentially, it's very, very simple. It's like a pullback in price action. Now, real quick, let me switch my candles to green for you so that way you can actually see exactly what this looks like in real time. So take a look here. We're pushing down, and then we have these 2 green candles here. These 2 green candles are what's considered a pullback. You guys already know this. But in this strategy, this is my failure, okay? So if we were to put a T here, we already know that we have trend going along this side. This becomes your failure. And so what I'm looking for in this strategy is for me to have next a continuation. We have a trail, we have a trend, we have a fail. Now we need to see a C, which is a continuation. A continuation looks like this. It is going to be, and here comes the haters commenting about the replay, but I got to show you guys what it actually looks like. Sorry. Now, what this is going to look like essentially is going to be on the next candle here. You can see that we have a fail, right? What we were look for in terms of a trend fail continuation system is we need to see this candle low get broken. Now, if we get a candle low break there, I am looking to enter to the downside on the candle break of lows, right? Not the candle close of lows. And why would that be? Well, take a look at this here. For example, let's say that we were looking to take a trade on this low here to the downside with a stop loss over here. This is already this big of a stop loss. Goes from 13 to 616. So a $3 stop loss. If we entered on the close of the candle, this would then become a $5 stop loss. So it makes no sense for me. I'd rather take the stop and be able to, have one stop loss and then another position go 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, than me having to wait for a close of a candle just to be able to literally get the same amount of money, right? It's not worth it for me. The risk to reward is so much higher if you enter just on the break. So for this strategy, we're going to enter on the break of the lows. And later on, I know what you're probably thinking, what if it just fails? I'm going to show you that in just a couple minutes. So the first thing that happens here is we need to see a low break. When we don't get that low break though, what happens is the next candle just becomes the continuation candle. And so we just need to see that continuation through lows. And at this point, we already have our failure. we need to see a continuation through this low now. As you can see, we break through that low, and that is where my entry point would be. My stop loss is always on a TFC entry going to be over the previous candle high in this scenario. And for a bullish scenario, for example, I'm just going to give you a quick one, for example. Right here, let's say, we're going up. We have ourselves this failure right here in this area. There's your fail. We need to see highs be broken. So we would enter on this candle here that breaks that high. Our stop losses are below the previous candle low here, right? So it's the same exact thing except to the opposite direction. And as you can see, both will net you very, very nice looking entries. And so, of course, you can let this thing run and it ends up being a massive position, as we already know, since it's a replay position. Now, here's the deal, though. This is going to work a lot for you, right? You're going to see right here that every single time we get one of these entries, it typically is going to work. But when it doesn't work, that's something that we need to understand as well. Take a look here. This entry right here, very, very smooth price action, beautiful looking move. If we continue to look, these entries happen over and over again where we are trending, we fail, and then we continue through with a stop loss underneath that low. And this ends up being the exact same position over and over again. But what happens if it doesn't continue lower, right? So for example, we're making this trend low here. Then we fail in this area right here. We then attempt to break this low right at this moment. This does not end up working in our favor, and it ends up getting us cooked within a couple of seconds. Now remember, not every single TFC is going to work. So how do we make these TFCs stronger? How do we make these TFCs extremely confident so that way we know exactly what's going to happen? Well, what you could do is combine them with levels, and that's what I do every single day. So whenever I trade with VWAP or EMA, what you guys see on my screen all the time, if you don't know about the VWAP and EMA strategy, at the end of this video, I'm going to link you to that video. That way you can watch that video and then link it with the TFC, and you're going to see how strong it actually is. But when we are trading with the TFC strategy, you can link it with levels. In this case, I'm going to show you VWAP and EMA because it's just extremely easy. And you can see that your entries will become a lot more smooth. So take a look here, for example. We are in a smooth bearish trend, not as smooth as the previous examples, but this is a smooth bearish trend. We see a push up towards this VWAP. We fail both the VWAP and EMA. We push through and break lows. This becomes a lot higher quality of a position with stops over the previous candle wick. And now we have ourselves a beautiful trade. The same thing goes for fibs, right? You can use fibs and catch pretty much the exact same entries. Instead of taking this position here, we could have waited for a beautiful VWAP and EMA position to be able to get that position to the downside. The same thing goes for here. I can find these over and over again because, guys, I've used this strategy for years, and it is extremely powerful. Take a look. Same exact strategy happens here. We're pushing down in clean trend. We have ourselves the failure here. A green candle pops up. We come up to retest both of these. What we're looking for this continuation, right? We need to see the T, the F, and then the C, which is going to be right here. We enter on the continuation. We don't enter on the close of the candle. And so now that we have levels alongside our position, it becomes a lot smoother of a trade because we know exactly what our most likely outcome is to happen. We know that once we have levels, it becomes a completely different story, right? So you can't just take every single TFC that exists because it just doesn't make much sense to do so. Now, there's one more scenario that I do want to show you that I think is very, very important. And if you guys could see, on these positions, there's sometimes where we end up having one candle that does both the fail and the continue. And so what I mean by that is, let me draw this level out for you real quick. So what I mean by that is there are often times where you are breaking a level, and instead of getting the TFC beautiful retest of the level and then a continuation through lows, there are times where you will push through the level, the next candle will come up, retest, wick all the way back down, and then come through below lows. That happens on occasion, and I'm going to try to find an example within the next 5 minutes. We don't have much time here, so I'm going to look for this example. But all right, I spent some time looking for that setup. I couldn't find it the exact way I wanted to, so here's a live example of exactly what I'm talking about here. I'm taking it with heavy risk. We're going to look for golden pocket. Oh, that's so good for lower, bro. That's so good for lower. I love this. Yeah, baby, this has good potential. Give me that continuation straight down. All right, pause. So here is an example of what I mean by this. As you can see, we have this TFC here on the 5-minute time frame, right? We are looking to have that 5-minute TFC all the way down to this level, and this is the overall trade that I'm wanting at this point. But if you take a look at the 15-minute time frame, if I'm able to speed this up a little bit, as you can see on the 15-minute time frame, it looks a little bit different, right? So on the 15-minute time frame, it looks like the candle's coming down, and then this candle is coming all the way back up, retesting and failing within the same candle. So this can still technically be a TFC if we were to take it below these lows, right? Now, what I meant by the other one is this is still the TFC, so my entry is in this spot because of the 5-minute TFC. But on the 15-minute, if we wanted this move, it's very, very high quality to take below this low. So that's the overall example that I meant when we can have a 1-candle TFC instead of a 2 or 3 candle TFC. So now that you saw that live example, you'll see that there's one more opportunity for a TFC to work, and that's pretty much the one that I see happen very, very often. Now, guys, there's a big mistake that a lot of people make, and this is the number one mistake with this entry model that I do not want you to run into, and it is called the equal trap. Now, what an equal trap looks like is something like this. Let me show you right now. We have smooth trend, right? We have the T. We have the F. But we don't get the C. We end up showing up right here, right at those highs. If you enter preemptively, trying to catch a move to that upside, like this, for example, there is a strong chance that that is not going to work. So be careful entering on equal highs. What we're looking for is strong breaks over the level, strong breaks over the highs, right? And so if we don't get that, for example, right here, take a look. We do have ourselves a TFC, right? But this is not a strong break over. This is just a weak break, and it doesn't show much pressure for us. We need to see strong momentum pushing into that candle. So if you fall for this equal trap, you will get absolutely slammed by the market consistently, and I don't want that to happen to you. So be careful on trading those equal traps. Those are very, very easy to fall for. To show you that it's not just me, this is the exact same entry model that students like El Pollo Man up here are using, right? As you can see, he is taking an entry off of this, a retest to the 50%, or sorry, to the golden pocket, and then a break of highs for a continuation over. It's the same TFC system over and over and over again. And as you can see, that position ended up netting him over $500, just under $500 on the day. And so if you were able to just lock in this system, lock in the exact same entry model every single time you take a trade, it will make your trading so much easier for you. And this is what I've done with over 500 students now. I've helped them get to the point where these TFC entries just become automatic, right? They become extremely simple, and you no longer have to wait for your entries. You no longer have to figure out, what the next best thing is going to be. As you can see, level break here, retest, continue straight through. This student is able to literally make thousands of dollars a day because he's following just this system. So if you want to follow the system with me, if you want to learn more about the TFC system, my fib entry models, basically everything that I know about trading that has led me to make over $25,000 per month, pretty much every single month, if that's what you want and you want to just fully go even more in depth and learn everything that it takes to understand how the market works, I work with 10 one-on-one students every single month, and I do not work with more than that. It is just 10 one-on-one students every single month. So if you're interested, you can go to the first link in the description, simplyoptionsacademy.com is what it's going to be in the description. You can go apply to hop on a call with me or my team. And what we're going to do is basically go over your entire trading career, your entire trading strategy, and basically show you exactly what you need to know for you to go even further. So if that's something you're interested in, First link in the description. I've been doing this for a very long time. I hope to see you guys all there. And I've helped a lot of students make a lot of money, as you can see right here. So I hope you guys are ready to do the exact same thing. Now, that was under 15 minutes. There's a video popping up on the screen right now that is going to go over that VWAP and EMA entry model that I showed you guys in the beginning. So like I said, the VWAP and EMA entry model it's going to be combined with the TFC. Everything you see on this channel will be TFC plus something else, right? Because I'm a price action trader, but you can't just trade price action. You have to have price action stacked with other confluences. So with that being said, guys, go watch the video popping up on the screen right now. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Adios, everybody. See you guys in 2 days. I upload literally once every 2 days. Bye, guys. Peace.